On The Young and the Restless, many fans believe that Bill has been given a rough deal and is often dismissed without due cause. Is that true? Let's explore what's happened. What is it that Billy has done to have everyone just give up on Hyman the Young and the Restless? Is he really that bad? Looking at the facts, let's start with Jill taking Chancellor away from him, which had more to do with Victor Newman than it did with Billy and Kane. Well, he knew what he was getting into when it comes to Billy before everything went sideways. It's not like Billy changed his colors and became a different person. Fans expressed this on the Soap Central message boards. Archangel wrote, "Fire Lily for cause." Lily was staging a coup to oust Billy as CEO, and she admitted it. Any CEO would have fired such an employee. Informed Chance that it was too soon for him to be co-CEO. Chance subsequently left the Chancellor position voluntarily. Hire Phyllis. Yes, Phyllis can be too much sometimes, but she's a genius in IT. Jill forced Billy to fire her. He obliged, and Jill let Victor get into her head regardless. Conclusion: Billy was fired out of fear he'd run Chancellor into the ground before the company even got started. Archangel continued. He was partly motivated by proving something to Jill and shoving it to Victor. He appeared to be overexcited or something. Kane single-handedly canceled the Abbott Communications launch without any prior notice, leaving everybody scrambling or wondering. If anything, Billy was stepping away from Chancellor and focusing on Abbott Communications. Kane is the one who reignited that fever in him, re-dangling Chancellor before him. That's when Billy had that argument with Jack and gave him his funding back. He trusted Kane to help him regain the Chancellor position and obtain financing for Abbott Communications, and he was suddenly dismissed, not because he had done anything wrong, but simply because he appeared erratic. Conclusion: both Jill and Kane dismissed Billy out of fear that he'd do something reckless when he hadn't done anything reckless. Hennivo02 replied with, "You are missing whole parts of what happened." Billy tried to oust Devon from his own company and enlist Lily's help, which is why Lily went against him. Billy dismissed everything Chance tried to do. He simply did not want to share the power with him. He renamed the company Abbott Chancellor, putting his last name first, not because of any loyalty to Jill, but because it was his last name and did it without anyone else's approval. Abbott Chancellor was started, and Billy was running it into the ground. Billy never owned the company. It was not his, but it was Jill's, and he acted like he did. Billy most certainly was being reckless in what he was doing, and Jill saw it. He was on a power trip and was taking the company down with him. Valued contributor Cloverleaf had this to say, "Who cares? Billy is not a responsible adult. He is a terrible businessman. He is motivated by revenge. He has mental problems. He has an addictive personality. He is constantly trying to prove to others that he is a hero. He is unhappy with himself and his identity. You want to blame everything he has done on his mother? Well, go ahead. I have said this all my life. There comes a point when a person is responsible for what they do. Billy is certainly old enough to be held accountable for all of this. Where do you stand on this? Is Billy hard done by, or is he the orchestrator of his own predicament with no one to blame but himself? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Welcome to the Young and the Restless Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. We finally saw a side of Kane Ashby that we can more fully embrace. Ever since his debut last summer, he's been promising that all will be revealed soon. Well, it's been a few months now, and we think we finally heard today what part of Kane's true master plan has been. Maybe he doesn't want to use AI software to take over Newman Enterprises, Jabot Cosmetics, Chancellor Industries, Cassidy First, Crimson Lights, and some other businesses on The Young and the Restless. Kane is capable of doing all this if he uses artificial intelligence software that can end up having Victor and Jack report to him as he would own their companies. But would that rewind the hearts of his ex-wife Lily or their children Maddie and Charlie? Probably not. Kane's no dummy, so why doesn't he realize this? Well, it turns out that he just might. He told Jack that one of his goals was to try to reunite Billy Abbott and his estranged mother, Jill Foster Abbott, whom Kane sees as a surrogate mother. Kane's been moving a lot of chess pieces around, and, as Soap Central recently theorized, perhaps his goals are a bit more altruistic than people have been giving him credit for. If Kane reunites Billy and Jill, then it's just possible Lily will see the man she once fell in love with. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full Y&R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously do not, forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the As Close as We Can Come to Being a Watching Party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, October 10th imply that Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman will be rewarded for a job well done, while Phyllis Summers will be stunned when she's caught in a compromising position. All heck broke loose during the Thursday, October 9th episode, when Chelsea and Adam, as co-CEOs of Newman Media, published that exposé on Kane Ashby. Victor Newman warned Kane that he would release the information he had about Colin Atkinson, conning that woman out of her fortune in Nice, and he made good on that promise. Chelsea and Adam organized the whole thing, with Nick Newman by their side to offer additional assistance, and now it looks like Chadam will enjoy the fruits of their labor, courtesy of Victor. What will Victor give the super couple to thank them for their efforts? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Across town, Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti will be on hand during Friday's show. The two will continue with their wedding planning as they make a major decision regarding the big event. Just what is this all about? Will Cricket reveal the dress she's chosen? It'll be interesting to see, as the wedding gown has been hand-picked by Y&R fans via a social media poll. Their nuptials take place in November, so the build-up to Danny and Christine's second wedding is bound to be huge. Finally, Phyllis will get caught with her pants down, so to speak. Added teasers imply she'll be found in a compromising position. So does this have to do with Kane? He summoned her to his train cab at the close of the Thursday, October 9th show. So what was the reason for his urgency? Jill Abbott encouraged him to prove himself to his kids to win their love and trust back. But what does Phyllis have to do with this? Will she scramble to help him and get caught in the act? Or will the two get caught up in emotion, only to have Lily Winters interrupt them? The Young and the Restless spoilers note that if Kane places Phyllis in a bad position and she gets exposed, everyone who warned against the billionaire mogul will be right, and there's nothing she hates more than being proven wrong. The Young and the Restless recap for Thursday, October 9th, states that Jack Abbott will reveal his dark plan against Victor Newman, while Jill Abbott believes every word Kane Ashby uttered. Jill walked into the train cab to see Jack and Kane conversing and nicely asked Jack to leave. After some pleasantries, he did just that, and Jill got right down to the point. She asked Kane if he knew about Colin Atkinson's last con of the woman in Nice, and if he knew that the money Colin scammed was the very cash that funded Kane's current empire. Kane tried to skirt Jill's questions, but when push came to shove, he told Jill that he didn't know about Colin's con, and he's not even sure if what Victor Newman is claiming about his father is true. After all, Kane questioned if Jill saw regret in Colin's eyes about the scheming life he lived before he passed, and Jill believed that Colin did change, and his intentions were good. Kane told Jill that Victor had blackmailed him, but he wasn't about to back down or be manipulated by him. He also doubted whether Victor had real proof. Jill was still skeptical and asked her pseudo-son if he plans on making amends. Over to the Newman Media offices, Chelsea Lawson, Adam Newman, and Nick Newman are all hunched over a computer, reading over the exposé about Kane and his father that they were about to publish. While they waited for Victor to okay the story, Chelsea fretted a bit about the repercussions that could come from Kane. However, both Adam and Nick felt as if they were prepared for the worst. In fact, Nick believed that they got through to Jill to sway Kane from using that AI software. Nick was hoping Jill would snag the program and give it to them to destroy. With that said, Victor sent a text to publish the piece, and the proverbial poop hit the fan. Adam and Chelsea were fielding calls from other journalists, many of whom were asking about their source for the article. Chelsea worried, but Adam assured her the article had been vetted by legal. Meanwhile, Nick went back and forth as to whether or not he should jet off to LA to join Sharon Newman with Noah Newman, as his son was having unknown problems. Still, Adam advised against it, and Nick decided to stay put for now. At Crimson, Y&R recaps for Thursday's show note that Phyllis Summers met up for coffee with Daniel Romalotti. He informed his mom that he was heading to Boston with Tessa Porter, and Phyllis tricked him into admitting he had feelings for his friend. Phyllis encouraged Daniel not to go on this trip. She doesn't want him to get hurt. However, Daniel insisted that even though he does like Tessa, he knows her heart belongs to Mariah Copeland. Back at Kane's train cabin, Jill lightened her stance after Kane swore on his kids that he knew nothing about Colin's so-called last con. This is when Lily Winters entered the equation. She had just read Newman Media's article about him and Colin and was enraged. She basically told him there was no way the twins would ever trust him again, and even though Jill tried to defend him and intervene, Lily didn't want to hear it. She stormed out just as fast as she stormed in, leaving Kane emotional as he realized things were truly over between him and the woman of his dreams. Still, Jill encouraged him to fix things with this family by proving himself through action, not words, just like his father did. Jill did all she could to hype Kane up and realized this was nowhere near the end for him and the kids, possibly even Lily. Over to Jabot, Jack was in his office, reflecting on his conversation with Kane, when Diane Abbott came in. The two started with small talk, which eventually became heavier. Jack told Diane about his interaction with Kane and his hope that Jill would intervene. Much like Victor, Jack is hoping that Jill will snag that AI software and give it to him. Diane expresses worry that Victor will get to her first, but Jack doesn't seem concerned. Still, Diane wondered what Jack would do once he had the AI software in his hands. Would he destroy it? Jack reveals that his plan would be to use it against Newman. After all, Victor worked overtime to ruin Kyle Abbott's life and turn him against them this year, plus everything else he's done to them in the past. At first, it seemed as if Diane might disapprove of Jack digging into his dark side, but she ends up reaching in and showing her approval with a smile, embracing him, and laying a kiss on her husband. Finally, after leaving Kane, Lily headed to Crimson and ran into Daniel and Phyllis. She ranted about her ex and then lashed out at Phyllis for encouraging Kane's destructive behavior. Phyllis was more than a little taken aback, and thankfully, a sudden phone call helped her escape Lily's wrath. Phyllis took the call from the Crimson patio, as Lily glared at her through the Hudson window, and it ended up being Kane who summoned Phyllis to this train cab, urgently. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that after Jill encouraged Kane to do something good to prove to his kids that he's not a ruthless person, Phyllis might be the last person that can help him with this. So is he looking for her to assist him with business activities or something else? On The Young and the Restless, the once-beloved marriage between Mariah and Tessa has slowly deteriorated. While the details aren't entirely clear, something happened on Mariah's business trip earlier this year that nearly resulted in a man's murder. After returning to Genoa City, Mariah immediately pushed Tessa away, offering no real explanation for her actions. Throughout this time, Tessa has grown much closer to Daniel, a friendship that has remained platonic thus far. However, in a recent interview, Tessa's portrayer, Kate Fairbanks, teased a deepening connection between Tessa and Daniel, something Tessa may be unaware of. Aside from her now wife, Mariah, Tessa's character arc hasn't showcased any other friends. For the longest time, she was a town pariah who blackmailed people, so that's hardly surprising. However, Mariah's sudden desire to push Tessa away has given Tessa room to explore a friendship with Daniel. Fairbanks hinted at this in an interview, telling Soap Opera Digest, "I think that Tessa really hasn't had the opportunity to make connections and friendships that much, like deep friendships, in her story on the show. But I think that this is one of those moments. The shift from friends to hopeful lovers has already clicked for Daniel, and his conflicted emotions are obvious, even if Tessa's not at that level yet. Since Tessa hasn't expanded her social circle much outside of Mariah throughout her time on The Young and the Restless and in Genoa City, The situation brewing with Daniel is uncharted territory. They've spent countless hours together, with Tessa first serving as his music mentor and now embarking on adventures together to uncover the truth about Mariah. Spending so much time in such close quarters with someone will inevitably stir up something, but Fairbanks teases that Tessa might not be conscious of this. I think that there's something there, but I'm not even sure she's as conscious of it as he would be, you know? We've all been through really hard things and then met and had connections with people, whether it be romantic or friendship or something. And I think that she's still exploring that herself. Now that the face behind Tessa has confirmed a growing connection with Daniel, it sheds new light on the events of Wednesday's all-new episode. Tessa proclaimed how much Daniel's support has meant to her throughout the ordeal with Mariah. Daniel made a decent attempt at modesty, but Tessa wouldn't allow it. However, when it appeared as if a declaration of love was on deck, or perhaps even a kiss, Tessa shocked everyone, mostly Daniel. Unfortunately for Daniel, Tessa did not express any feelings for him or initiate any kiss. Instead, Tessa proclaimed Daniel to be not only her friend, but more importantly, her best friend. At least for the time being, Tessa and Daniel will remain friends, but his glaring urge for it to develop into something more may play a larger factor down the road. If Tessa and Daniel make the trip to Boston to confront Mariah with their knowledge, it's possible she will pick up on the increased chemistry between them. Mariah pushed Tessa away, and she may have gone too far, bringing an unlikely duo together for a situational romance. Between Heather's murder and Mariah's current crisis, Fairbanks explained the destined nature of their connection, saying, "They're basically both grieving, and grief is really powerful, and it can connect you to people. So I'm not sure if it's something that she would explore right now, being so in that grief, but they definitely are equally connected to each other." Here's your recap for the Young and the Restless episode on Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Victor and Nikki interrogated Jill over Kane. Jill stated she was not blind to Kane's imperfections. Victor scoffed at Jill, calling them that. She shot back that everyone had their blind spots. Jill was curious that Victor thought he could change her mind about Kane. Victor asked Jill if she knew of the danger Kane is capable of creating. Jill said Nikki had given him a brief tutorial. Victor said Kane was targeting everyone Jill knew. Jill said she wouldn't want anything to happen to Victor either. Victor was touched. Jill said Kane has backed off planned attacks. "You can come out of your bunkers. There isn't going to be a war," Jill said. Jill accused Victor of making everything transactional. Victor said it is. Nikki suggested that either Jill was lying to her and Victor, or that Kane was lying to Jill. Nikki said the real story on how Kane built his empire wasn't pretty. Jill said Colin took proceeds from legitimate land sales, and Kane turned it into a fortune. Victor said the only thing in Colin's heart was greed. "Yeah, well, you would be the man to know," Jill shot back at Victor. "Actually, we do know," Nikki countered. She said Kane's chateau was swindled away from the De Leon family. "We don't get any pleasure out of telling you this, Jill," Nikki compassionately said. Jill responded, "I don't know. I think Victor might." Victor said he knew the truth was a bitter pill to swallow. Jill said if she believed them, she'd be deeply saddened. She added that she witnessed Colin's genuine regret when he was dying. Victor said that could have been an act. Victor announced that he had Madame de Leon's letter. In it, she bequeathed a Lord Jeremy Edgerton. That was one of Colin's many aliases. Victor said he could show Jill the letter. Jill said letters could be forged, and that she didn't believe him. Victor told Jill that he was backing the wrong horse. Jill said even if she believed Victor, what did he expect her to do? Jill didn't believe that Kane would swoop in and destroy Chancellor Industries. Nikki noted that Kane loved Jill. Victor said that they need to get Kane's software. Jill surmised that Victor wanted Kane to give Jill the software so that she could turn around and give it to Victor. Jill asked if the plan was for her to get her hands on the AI program and give it to Victor. She noted that it would give Victor a lot of power. Jill needed proof, meaning the letter from Madame de Leon. Victor said he'd keep the original letter. Jill asked if the proof could be emailed to her, and she left. Nikki asked Victor what he thought Jill was going to do. He surmised that Jill would go to see Jack. Nikki asked Victor what his solution was. Nikki asked Victor if he would destroy the AI software. Victor said as long as Kane thought it was destroyed, then that would be enough. Nikki asked if Victor would use it against Jabot. Victor laughed at Nikki's suggestion that Victor only pretended to ally himself with Jack. Jack walked into Kane's train. Kane said he was expecting Jack. The Abbott exec made a dig at Kane's casual attire. Kane thought it was interesting that Jack referenced his conscience, as Jack probably didn't think he had one. Jack said Kane made that easy. Kane thought Jack would be happy that he's no longer in business with Billy. Jack asked Kane if he liked playing mind games. "What could any of us have done to deserve being played like that?" Jack asked. Jack recounted Kane pretending to be Aristotle Dumas and his dangling Chancellor Industries in front of his brother. Jack called Kane's machinations cruel. Kane suggested Billy's obsession with Catherine's company wasn't healthy. Jack asked if Kane truly wanted to talk about unhealthy obsessions. He pointed out Kane's personal life sounded like a mess. Kane said he wasn't playing Billy out of a grudge. He said they're both too much alike. Kane acknowledged that Jack was right about the addiction of wanting more. He's asking himself what the cost was. Kane said he was reconsidering who he wanted to be. Kane said he was aware that Jack had talked to Jill and was trying to turn her against Kane. "Oh, Jill and I go way back," Jack casually replied. "We talk from time to time. Was I not supposed to mention your current activities? I thought Aristotle Dumas was an open book." Kane maintained he was telling the truth. He wanted to reset and do things right. Jack said that was good, so why not get rid of the software program? Kane said there should be a neutral party that could destroy it. He asked Jack if he had anyone in mind. Jack said, "Me!" Kane dryly noted that Jack was altruistic to do that. Jack said he was serious. Kane said he didn't see Jack as neutral. Kane said skepticism goes both ways. He might use the software against Victor. "Is that really what you're worried about?" Jack asked. Kane said if he gave the software to Victor, then he might use it against Jack. He pondered giving it to wildcards Phyllis and Billy. Kane said it would be fun to find out. "Fun?" Jack replied. "None of us are having fun, Kane." Kane said he hadn't gotten a logical solution. He doesn't trust anyone. Kane poured himself a drink and theorized that they could give the software to Nick. But as he's Victor's #1 son, he might not be trustworthy. He didn't think Adam would be a good choice either. Jack accused Kane of playing mind games. Kane said giving the AI to anyone would result in chaos. Jack suggested Kane trust Jill with the AI software. Kane accused Jack of summoning Jill back to Genoa City. "No one summons Jill Abbott," Jack noted. "I think you should know that. She calls her own shots, including this time." Kane revealed he tried to get Jill and Billy to make up. He said he only wanted Chancellor Industries to try to bridge the gap between mother and son. Jack said he thought Kane was going after Chancellor Industries to re-win Lily's heart. Kane said if he thought that would have worked, he would have tried 10 times harder. Jack wondered if Kane was truly trying to reunite Billy and Jill. Kane said he was trying to offer Billy another chance. Jack conceded it was plausible, but he wanted to know how Billy went from being worthy of a second chance to being out on the street. Kane said Billy showed his true colors, and so Kane cut his ties. Jack said Billy was worthy of redemption. "Didn't you turn your back on Billy?" Kane pointed out. Jack admitted that Billy could be frustrating. The Jabot executive asked Kane if he didn't understand the desire to save the people they love from themselves, using Colin as an example. Kane maintained that Colin had changed. "According to you," Jack wondered. Kane said Jack could try asking Jill, who just walked into the room. Jack said he wanted to talk to his former stepmother. Jill wondered if Jack wanted to put ideas in her head about Kane the way Billy and Victor had. "Is it working?" Jack asked. Jill said that remained to be seen. Tessa asked Daniel if he thought Sharon was going to be okay. Daniel said Sharon is not so fragile anymore. He suggested she could tell Mariah's mom anything. Daniel called Tessa a warrior. Tessa wanted to get it out of her head that Mariah could be in danger from her man. Daniel mused that Mariah was safe at a clinic in Boston. Tessa wondered if Mariah's mystery man wanted revenge against her. Maybe they should talk to him. Daniel said they weren't cops and that they should just leave things alone. Tessa said they should talk to him anyway to gauge if he's a friendly guy or not. Daniel said that the mystery man could figure out that Tessa is related to Mariah, and then she could be in danger. Tessa realized that Arya could be too. When you put it like that, I get your point. It was a dumb idea, Tessa conceded. Daniel said the guy might want to forget the whole incident with Mariah. Tessa said this was all so frustrating. Daniel lamented that they couldn't ask Chance for advice that would be kept off the record. Mariah's not a killer, Tessa said. She noted he's being haunted by Ian Ward even from the grave. Tessa wondered what caused Mariah to break. Tessa ran through a series of possibilities as to what happened between Mariah and her mystery man. Daniel urged Tessa to stay grounded. He maintained that it was going to be okay and that Mariah would come home from Boston eventually. Tessa insisted on going to see Mariah. Okay, Daniel said. Tessa maintained, and don't try to stop me. A surprised Daniel noted, I just said okay. Tessa said, oh, sorry. Tessa said the clinic in Boston must have visiting hours. Daniel noted Mariah might not want to see her. She might not be ready to talk. Daniel said he didn't want to see Tessa get disappointed. Tessa said she wouldn't take no coming from Mariah for an answer. Daniel asked if anyone had told her that she was intense, like she was in their guitar lessons. Daniel said that's what Mariah loves most about her. I can be a bit much, I know that, Tessa said. Daniel suggested Tessa was the perfect amount of many qualities. You're going to make me cry, Tessa told Daniel. She went to check flights to Boston. Tessa said there was a red eye, but she didn't want to arrive in Boston a mess. Daniel said Mariah might not want to talk to her. Tessa said that she loved Mariah, so there was no conflict. Tessa said she appreciated Daniel. He said he was in it for the long haul. Daniel said it could have been worse. Maybe Mariah felt like her life was in danger? Tessa said Daniel would know because of Heather. He said he was rooting for a happy ending for Mariah and Tessa. Leave it to you to say something sweet, Tessa told Daniel. She said she was grateful to Daniel. Tessa said that the last few months have been hell. Daniel said he was happy he could be there for Mariah. Tessa told Daniel that he'd been more than just a friend. He was her best friend, and then she hugged him. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby could be gearing up for a sizzling train encounter. It looks like the duo could get busted in a scandalous position, so let's talk about what's in store on Y&R. For starters, Nick Newman will once again try to save Phyllis from making a big mistake. As far as Nick's concerned, Phyllis and Kane's alliance can only end in disaster. The last thing Nick wants is for Phyllis to land in prison because Kane's dragged her in over her head. That could become a harsh reality for Phyllis if she indeed commits crimes for Kane through all the AI software drama. Of course, there have been some doubts about whether that software actually even exists. There's no proof of it yet, but the threat has certainly rattled a few key players in Genoa City. It's possible Kane is bluffing just to shake up his enemies, but Phyllis definitely believes in Kane's software and will be ready to move forward with using it. As for the grilling session she'll face when Nick corners her, Phyllis will defend Kane and their weird connection. Kane and Phyllis just get each other, so Phyllis may argue that they don't have to explain anything to anyone else. Meanwhile, Kane will find himself on the hot seat with people he cares about as well. Both Jill Abbott and Lily Winters will launch a confrontation with Kane about his history, so that may involve discussing the good, the bad, and the ugly. This may play out due to the major media attack that Victor Newman's about to throw at Kane with Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson's help. Once Kane's all riled up about that media blast and feeling terrible after the interrogation that'll follow, he may turn to Phyllis for comfort. We know Phyllis will get busted in a compromising situation as the week of October 6-10 winds down. So could that involve some erupting train passion with Kane? Lily might forget something after her Kane confrontation and come back to get an eyeful. Whatever the case, Phyllis will be paired up with a surprising love interest in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for updates on any romantic news that might involve Kane. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some sparks could fly and complicate this alliance as the October mayhem heats up. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Kane Ashby may give Jill Abbott his dangerous AI software, but will she use it to get Chancellor back and win over her real son, Billy Abbott? There's been a lot of talk this week about Jill being the only one to get through to Kane. Everyone in town also believes she holds the key to getting his AI program and destroying it, so Kane won't be tempted to take over all the major companies in Genoa City. With that said, Victor Newman is hoping that Jill will get the AI software and give it to him so that he can turn around and take over Jabot. Meanwhile, Jack Abbott believes he can get through to Jill, convince her to give it to him, and he can rip Newman Enterprises right from under the mustache. It's likely that if Jill gets the program, she won't hand it over to either man. She knows that Victor and Jack can't be trusted, and she may have an idea of her own. This week, Victor not only spilled the beans to Jill about Colin Atkinson's so-called last con funding Kane's empire, but he also published an article on it via Newman Media, flipping Kane's world upside down. Kane's kids hate him as it is, so this will make things worse. When Jill confronted Kane on this deception, she seemed to believe his story, that he knew nothing about Colin's con, and that he didn't even know if Victor had real proof. He also made it clear that Victor had blackmailed him with this information, but he refused to back down. Jill hyped Kane up a ton before she left and encouraged him to prove himself to his kids, and that actions speak louder than words. It's clear she's still 100% on his side. Kane has also been frank about wanting Jill to reunite with Billy, and how he felt that getting Chancellor back and having Billy run it could have achieved just that. Jill will be outraged at Victor's latest move against Kane, and may decide to take matters into her own hands. Selling Chancellor to him was a mistake, even if she had good intentions. Could she swerve Victor, promise him the AI software, and then turn around and steal back Chancellor? How irate would both Victor and Nikki Newman be if they learned they lost their prize possession? Jill could rewrite a wrong, place Billy back at the helm of Chancellor, and tell her son that she'll give him a second chance if he gives her one. The Young and the Restless spoilers remind fans that Jill isn't the type to work hard at getting something as powerful as an AI software program, only to hand it over to someone else to make a big move with it. She likes to be the one to take the lead. Sharon told Audra that Noah and Allie are still together, which has fans wondering if she's lying. Sharon and Nick are looking forward to their trip to Los Angeles on The Young and the Restless. They will go visit their son, Noah, who will soon return to Genoa City. Sharon spoke to Noah before their trip. She told Audra that Noah and Allie are more in love than ever. Audra went to Crimson Lights, where she ran into Sharon. She found out that Sharon had visited her son, Noah, who's still in love with his fiancée, Allie. Sharon couldn't stop bragging about their love story. Some fans caught wind of this scene on one soap opera message board. The original poster noted, "It was obvious that it was purposely done to make Audra jealous and/or feel worse regarding her breakup with Nate." Nate and Audra broke up after she took on Victor's. Not only that, but she also kissed Kyle in Nice. But Sharon doesn't know what happened to Nate and Audra's relationship. She's been excited about seeing her son again. Still, the original poster called out Sharon's hypocrisy. They were reminded of how she reacted to Nick's relationship with Phyllis. However, some fans didn't see it as bragging. Sharon didn't really go on and on. She mentioned to Audra that Noah was in LA and that he and Allie were very much in love. One fan responded, "It might have been unnecessary, but I love it when someone upsets Audra," wrote someone else. On and on? Really? A third person asked, doubting the original poster's recount of the scene. That same person also noted that Sharon could have been lying about Noah and Allie's relationship status. Or, she might get a surprise when Noah returns home. Days of Our Lives alum Lucas Adams will now be playing the role of Noah Newman. "I think Sharon will be in for a big surprise when she finally gets to LA. I am thinking Noah and Allie have already broken up," the user noted. Meanwhile, other fans think Sharon is just excited to see her son. She knows that big things are happening in his life. Noah plans to open a club on the West Coast. Phyllis may get caught in the act. Jack and Jill's meeting could shake up Genoa City's power balance, and Danny and Christine share sweet pre-wedding moments. But under the smiles, secrets, and schemes are brewing everywhere. On the Friday, October 10th episode of The Young and the Restless, spoiler photos show Phyllis on Kane's train, Jack and Jill having a meeting of the minds, and Kane confronting Adam as well as Chelsea. Plus, Danny and Christine look all lovey-dovey and in a celebratory mood with their friends, Michael and Lauren. What else happens on Friday on Y&R? There are a ton of sneak peek photos to give you a clue. Newman Media has unleashed the latest hit piece on Kane, and the billionaire, formerly known as Aristotle Dumas, is reeling a bit. He urgently called Phyllis and asked her to join him on his train. So why do the Friday spoilers suggest that Phyllis is caught in a compromising position? Does this compromising position involve Phyllis and Kane on the train? Or does she get caught carrying out one of his requests? It's only natural that Kane visits Adam and Chelsea, the duo behind Newman Media. Their hit piece on Kane is already garnering a lot of attention and portraying Kane in a negative light. Lily is furious, and she claims that the kids we never see will feel the same. Kane has been hoping to repair his relationship with his kids, not hurt them further. So this confrontation is inevitable. Kane also knows who is really behind this smear campaign, and that's Victor. How heated will this chat get? Also, will Kane rethink his decision not to use the super-powerful secret AI weapon? He could always unleash it on Newman if it exists. Victor sure doesn't look happy here, but the weekly teasers reveal that he is happy with Adam and Chelsea's performance. He rewards Adam and Chelsea's loyalty. Just how does he do that? Jack has been scrambling to stop the supposed monster that is Kane. He's also trying really hard to prevent having to team up with Victor. Oh, and also, there's the energy he has to spend trying to prevent his son, Kyle, from doing anything idiotic. Currently, he has his sights set on playing Puppet Master. He's trying to get Jill to secure Kane's AI software so he can destroy it, or use it against Newman. Jill is back in Genoa City, and she's already had several conversations focused on one topic: Kane Ashby. Victor wants her to get the AI from him, and so does Jack. But no matter what Kane has threatened to do, she insists Kane is a good man. What is she going to do? On Friday, Jill and Jack finally have that talk at Jabot. They're sure to discuss all things AI because, well, duh. But she will have to give Jack another assessment of what she thinks Kane is up to. But all bets may be off now that Newman struck Kane hard with that hit piece, right? Things look pleasant enough in these photos, but will the pleasantries last? Forget pleasantries, Danny and Christine look beyond happy and positively joyous as their wedding nears. Additional teasers focus on Danny and Cricket making a big decision about their wedding. What do they reveal to Michael and Lauren? Michael and Lauren have been together for decades, but is it the end of the road for them? Michael and Lauren on The Young and the Restless will mark a major milestone in December, if their marriage can last that long. As SoapHub reported, Michael, working with Victor again, has pushed Lauren to her limit. Lauren has made her feelings about Victor crystal clear. Michael not only ignoring how she feels, but also lying to her about it put a serious damper on their marriage. The tough time comes as the couple gears up to celebrate 20 years of marriage, something unheard of in the soap world. Bregman and LeBlanc spoke with Michael Fairman TV about the anniversary and what makes the couple unique. No, they did not give away any details on whether Lauren and Michael will make it for 2 more months or if there will be a celebration to honor it. What they did admit, though, is that Y&R fans should brace for drama from the iconic duo. There's stuff coming up where it's a rough patch, that's for sure, Bregman shared. Let's be honest, Michael and Lauren have been on the back burner for a while. Giving them a marriage hurdle is long overdue. However, that doesn't mean they won't make it to their 20th wedding anniversary. This is a couple that is built to last, much like Victor and Nikki. They have been through the good, bad, and ugly with each other, and still want to be together. It seems Michael might just be channeling his inner bad guy, something Bregman is all for, as it helps the characters keep an edge to them. After all, Lauren has channeled her inner bad girl during her time on the CBS soap, too. LeBlanc and Bregman think Lauren and Michael are written like a real-life married couple. They hit below the belt, have a major blowout, saying things only married people can to each other, and then make up. We had scenes where we were almost divorced. Tracy and I were in the dressing room rehearsing. We did all our crying in the dressing room because that was not the fight. Then we went out and kicked each other's butts. It was so good. It was real married stuff that you would only say because it only hurts your spouse because it's aimed so well, and you know exactly how to push their buttons, LeBlanc recalled to the outlet. Even though Michael and Lauren are on the rocks, we are certain they will make it to their 20th wedding anniversary in December. Their portrayers agree too. Lauren and Michael are endgame. Phyllis makes a mistake. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Friday, October 10th, find Adam and Chelsea getting a pat on the head from Victor, while Christine picks a gown to get married in, again. There is nothing more important to Victor than loyalty. You're with him or you're against him. And if you're against him, you're evil and wrong and stupid. His children owe Victor their loyalty. In all things. But especially business. When Adam dared listen to Chelsea that maybe they shouldn't go after Billy but pick on someone their own size, Victor lost it and reminded his son who the most important person in the world was. And no, it was not the mother of Adam's beloved son, Connor. It was Victor. It's always Victor. So Adam folded and did what Victor demanded, and got Chelsea to go along. This pleases Victor. He feeds his son a Scooby snack and tells him he may grow to love him yet, as long as Adam plays his cards right and never challenges Victor again. Good boy. Sit, roll over, beg. Christine and Danny are getting married again. Lauren designed several possible wedding dresses for her friend, and viewers got to vote on which one she should wear. Now, Christine is closer to making her decision, as well as picking a date, a location, a reception space, music, food, all the usual things. This thing is completely under control. Phyllis believes that Kane can't possibly unleash his artificial intelligence superweapon without her help, even though she only looked up what exactly AI is a few weeks ago. She said as much to Victor, and now she's determined to prove it to the world, or at least to Genoa City. So Phyllis does a few underhanded things, which are totally justified, and she is totally innocent, even when caught red-handed. Besides, Phyllis is too smart to get caught. Even when she is. Who are you going to believe, her or your own eyes? The Young and the Restless, spoilers for the week of October 13th, indicate some twists and turns. Fans can expect Claire Grace Newman to go on her Los Angeles adventure. New characters debut. Plus, Sharon Newman and Nick Newman face some horror. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Tamara Braun. The actress will make her Y&R debut on Tuesday, October 14th, 225. The woman will be playing Hollywood club owner Sienna Bacall. This is connected to Noah Newman, who is setting up a new club in Los Angeles. There is also Matt Cohen, who will be arriving on Thursday, October 16th. It is stated that Cohen is playing Detective Burrow. With Noah working at a club, presumably Sienna's club, there must be trouble. Is there a murder or an attempt on someone's life? Maybe someone goes missing? In any case, Sharon and Nick will make a horrifying discovery and will want to help their son through this ordeal. Could this be connected to Roger Howarth coming to the show? With Nick, Sharon, and Noah in Los Angeles with the newcomers, other Genoa City residents will also be in the big city. Expect Claire to go on her adventure with Holden Novak. However, Victoria Newman indicated she was going to follow Claire. It seems that Kyle Abbott will also be in LA, and might even save Claire from trouble. At least, that might be his cover story. Fans know that Claire was desperate for space and distance from Kyle. The girl kept telling him to let her think and process things. However, Kyle just won't let things go and might chase her down. Even if he does save Claire from Holden's adventure, I'm not sure if she is going to appreciate it. It seems that Kyle is doing everything he can to push Claire away forever. Kyle might even push Claire right into Holden's arms and bed. There is a lot that we don't know about Holden, and from Audra Charles' description, the man likes to live dangerously. Did she mean a confusion for skydiving or race car driving? Or is Holden involved in criminal activities? So, let's see what exactly Audra meant by Holden living dangerously. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of October 13th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next.